Okay, it's time to stand and pledge allegiance to the flag, and give me a moment, please. Okay, yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have the invocation.
Father, thank you so much for this day that you've given us to come. Please watch over us and keep us safe. Please be with everyone here and let them know that we're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to do what we think's best. Please watch over us and keep us all safe as we leave. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Just a second to check on Doc's computer.
Okay. Okay, I call the meeting to order and make a statement that all 6 commissioners are here. As far as the roll call, entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Have a motion from Ms. Commissioner Shelnut.
I'll second.
Second from Kirkland Dixon. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Are planning and zoning. Always the fun part of a meeting.
Okay, the first case is Z21060020, rezone 2 acres from I-1 to M2 for salvage operation yard, junkyard, recyclable material, wholesale yard, and a variance to waive the acreage requirement. The applicant is Godlove Famute. The owner is Brian and Godlove Famute and Goma Discount Tires. The property is located at 873 Adamson Drive, and this is in District 6. The minimum required property for a salvage yard is 5 acres. This property is 2 acres, and it's 120 foot wide. Mr. Fomate said that there would be only about 20 cars at a time there. There would be no dismantling. There was no opposition at the Planning Commission meeting. However, the Planning Commission recommended denial due to the size of the lot not meeting the acreage and the width of the lot being very small.
Okay. All right, I'll open the public hearing on this request. Is the applicant here and would like to come forward and tell us?
Hey, good evening. Yeah, the two.
State your name and your address, please.
My name is Godlove Famute, and Brian Famute is my son, so which we own the property. I live in, address is 809 North Broad Street, Monroe.
Okay.
Yeah, the property, I'm pleading for rezoning. I just want to do an extension where I can park some cars, and I'm not going to do much because I'm a sole proprietor. I just want to see if it can be rezoned for that. If not, that's fine, but I just want to try. I don't have much car to store there, but I just want to do an extension.
Okay. Any questions from the board? All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, is there anyone here in opposition to this rezoning? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion from the board.
Chairman, this is in District 5, and I'm going to make a motion that we follow the planning and zoning's request due to the narrowness of the lot and the decrease in acres from what our current zoning is.
Okay, we have a motion to follow the Planning Commission's recommendation and denial.
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Bradford. Any further discussion? All those in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? It's unanimous.
Okay, the next case is rezone Z21070002, rezone 6.73 acres from A1 to M2 for wood product manufacturing. The applicant is Francisco Gomez. The owner is Jeffrey Kurt Billingsley. The property is located on Georgia Highway 20, and this is in District 2. Mr. Gomez did want to, if approved, for it to be for this use only. He knows there was concerns from some of the neighborhood that it could be something else, so he said he was good if this was approved to be for that use only. He said that some of the scrap materials would be taken away in a truck, no scrap material stored on site. He plans to build 80 by 100 building. So the building of the trusses would be inside. The Planning Commission recommended approval to allow wood product manufacturing of floor trusses only, with hours of operation from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay. Okay, I'll open the public hearing on this request, and would the applicant please come forward and state what he's going to do?
I'm the real estate agent involved, so I might be able to answer some questions.
I thought I didn't remember you as Mr. Gomez.
Hi, my name is Francisco Gomez. Yeah, we just try to,
State your name and address for the record, please.
Francisco Gomez. I live in 683 Warm Springs Road in Loganville. We just try to start a new business and then start doing the floor joists. And we want to turn this property into M2 so we can put a factory in there.
Okay, does the board have any questions? And these are floor trusses that you,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Okay, and Charlie, y'all have no problem with this reverting back to the original zoning if this business closes? It'll follow
Right,
the
yeah,
business. It'll follow the
yeah,
business.
they were okay. Jeff Billingsley was okay with it reverting if it, yeah,
Okay.
if this doesn't. Could I say something about, I did not know that they had, my name's Charles Evanson. I live at 545 Oak Ridge Drive, Oxford, Georgia, but I'm in Walton County. I'm the real estate agent that actually represents Jeff Billingsley in the process. We were okay with the conditions of this use only, but I did not know until earlier today that there was recommended, it's not written in the agenda, that there was a condition for time constraint, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thing I would say is, in defense of Mr. Gomez, if, let's say he gets an order from Reliant Homes or big man, he is in the framing business now. He runs 4 crews, is that right? Runs 4 framing crews. And and he went to work for a company that builds these trusses. How long did you work for them to learn the business?
About 3 months.
Yeah, he worked for him for 3 months to learn the process, so he knows the process. Should he get an order, and one of the major problems right now in holding up construction of new homes is they can't get enough floor trusses. I talked to a builder the other day and mentioned that I was working with a gentleman wanting to build floor trusses. He said, I could buy floor trusses right now if I could get somebody to make them. And the problem with the time constraint is, say that he gets an order and a large builder says, I'll buy from you if you can produce this many trusses per month, but only if you can promise me that many trusses a month. And let's say he needs a second shift to generate that. You know, it could put him in a position of an all or nothing with a major client. The business of making floor trusses, there is one in Walton County that I know of right now. 84 Lumber owns a 84 Truss Company on Highway 81. It's got an Oxford address, I believe, but it is in Walton County. It's right before the Newton County line on Highway 81. There are homes all around that property. The only thing that goes on in a truss manufacturing facility is they saw 2x4s. The floor trusses he's talking about is an open web design floor truss, the ones where you have 2x4 on the top, 2x4 on the bottom, and you have the web design of 2x4s in the middle. They saw 2x4s, they put them together, they have the spike plates that go for the joints. The spike plates are laid down, tapped down, and then a roller comes along and presses all of those in there. So it's not like air hammers are going off all the time, nail guns. The proximity from where his building is going to be located on the property will be in the upper right-hand corner, based on what DOT required his driveway to be lined up with Ivory Road across. It'll be approximately 100 feet off the front of the property, and it has has to have a buffer of 100 feet all the way around. I measured from his building to Hope Community Church is 520 feet. There's a buffer of trees there already, and his 100-foot buffer will have trees in it as well. The nearest home, Mr. Gordon's home, I measured from the right rear corner of his property to Mr. Gordon's home, the nearest point, 565 feet to his home. And there'll be well over 100 feet of trees between this property and there. All the sawing goes on inside the property. Chop saws and skill saws both run at about between 102 and 110 decibels, similar to a motorcycle riding down the road. So I just can't imagine that it's going to be an abusive amount of sound coming from the property. The loudest thing you're going to hear is the beep beep of forklifts moving materials from out on the layout yard inside the building. So that's, got any questions?
Any questions from the board? So are you requesting approval with a difference in the work hours that was recommended?
I would just, like I say, I didn't see it on the agenda. I'd looked online and I saw condition for this use only, but I did not see a condition for a time constraint. And I'm just saying I would ask that the commissioners please reconsider that based on the fact that the distance from any, you've got M2 properties already on Ivory Road. There's one property from J.D. Henderson is an M1, and Davy Tree Experts has a property. They don't have anything on it yet, but there's an M2 already over there. So it's not like this is the first M2 that's going to be in the area. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone in opposition to this? Please come forward.
Good evening. So I'm the resident at 4029 Bailey Circle. That would be the one that is not directly, but that one right there. The second closest residential property to the rezoning request. And I would say that I operate an M1 business myself.
Let's back up. We didn't get your name and
I'm
address.
sorry. I'm Trent Pippin. Yeah, Trent Pippin. I moved to Walton County about 2 years ago from Rockdale to kind of have some peace and quiet, which y'all are trying to take away from me. So what I would have to say about this whole thing is I operate an M1 business, trucking. We run heavy equipment, and the beeping of the forklifts and loading and all that, that's notable noise. Not to mention having, commercial trucks in and out. I would, if y'all do approve this, please do not, please keep the hour restraints. I don't know if they're wanting to work at 10 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock in the morning, but that's completely absurd. Going from basic agricultural to heavy industrial is the most extreme rezoning that you could possibly do. I'm not one to stand in the way of progress. If they were going to rezone that to be a used car lot or a gas station or something of that nature, I don't think anybody would really have a problem with that. But a 100-foot buffer for an M2 zone is not going to do much of anything as far as noise constraints. I was required to put a 100-foot buffer on my M1 business. The thing that really stands out to me about this is that, there are plenty of other M2 zonings that they could purchase without such an extreme rezoning. To me, it's far too close to residential properties. And I'm sure it's awesome for whoever's trying to sell the property. Being an M2 zone would increase the value of that property to whoever's selling it, but it will lower the value of the surrounding residential properties, which I hardly see as fair. I think that there are plenty other M2 zones that are in Loganville, in Walton County, that they could purchase without this. So I am asking y'all to please not approve the rezoning.
Okay, thank you. Would the applicant like to rebut anything that this gentleman says? If you, is there another one in opposition? I'm sorry. Please come forward. I'm cutting you off. I apologize, sir.
My name is Sidney Gordon. I live at 4027 Bailey Circle. I'm adjacent to the property that's being requested the rezoning. Again, Trent is correct. An M2, right now, everything surrounding that is R1. You make mention of an M2 across the street, but it's behind North American Tree. I can still hear the noise coming when they're grinding the wood over there. I can't do anything about that, but as much as I like Mr. Gomez's story of how he's trying to get ahead, I think crossing the street, for one, the DOT had a problem with what his original drawing was, and they changed it. Even now with the change, his driveway's encroaching on the 100-foot. If you have a copy of it there, you can see the corner of the driveway still encroaches on the 100-foot boundary. But as I told Mark when I spoke with him, 100 foot is nothing. I can spit 100 feet. So I stand to lose a lot. Noise will be a problem, and if you allow construction and they're constructing after those hours that you've set, there will be people moving stuff outside. And the worst thing is the trucks that are going to be delivering the materials and picking the materials up are tractor trailers, long beds, and that's how they ship them, which I don't know if you're in that area or not, but with Coparts right now, all the tractor trailers are going in there. It's a nightmare. They are requesting him to change and have a turn lane there, but it's a 2-lane road. When we moved there, we knew that there was a possibility that Georgia 20 was going to be expanded, and we realized that. But as of right now, there's not any, and there's too much traffic already on the traffic studies are there, 11,000 cars a day, and that was with the COVID going on the last count. a lot of tractor trailers going in and out of Coparts across the street, which is going to be exactly the opposite of where this place is. I can hear Coparts trucks going around. They use forklifts to move stuff in and out. That's how they do it. I can hear them at my house now when they're operating. So I'm in huge opposition to this rezoning. I like to see a mix. I understand it's important to have a mix, and this is a highway corridor, but it's still only a 2-lane road, and I think that's too much, especially to have it go from R1 to a M2. Trent's M1 is noise enough, and I understand they say there's not going to be that much noise, but there will be. There's already plenty of noise there. So I would hope, especially, Mark, that you would not approve this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there other opposition that would like? All right, if the applicant would like to make a rebuttal statement.
I think what we've said, stands as far as we're given the idea of.
Okay, the applicant stands on his first statement. Okay, I'll close the public hearing on this matter and entertain a motion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion that be approved with conditions of operating hours from 7 to 7, 6 days a week, 8-foot OPEC fence put around all outside storage, and that as far as the decel lane, that will go through the DOT. So those conditions will be put on the property.
For that use only?
Pardon?
For that use only.
For that new zoning. The zoning will follow the property owner.
Okay, and,
Second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board? All right, I'll
6
call
days a week, Mr. Chairman, would be Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Saturday, and the hours that was approved by the,
I'll go from 7 to 7.
okay. All right, that's the motion with the additional screening fence.
With 8-foot screening fence around all outside property.
And we have a second. Any other discussion? Call a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous.
Okay, the next case is Z21070003, rezone 17.35 acres from A1 to A for a small-scale solar farm and office. The applicant and owner is William Morris III and Mark Faircloth. The property is located on Georgia Highway 81, and this is in District 5. I'll let him explain what he's doing, but they do want a small-scale solar farm that would service the structures that will be there. They plan to build a residential structure for training. The Planning Commission did hear opposition from a couple of the residents in the Arden Crest subdivision. The Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions of an 8-foot opaque fence around the panels, the office building to match residential appearance, and that they leave a wooded buffer along North 81 and except for the driveway area, and then along the east property line.
Okay, thank you. I'll open the public hearing on this request, and if the applicant would please come forward and tell us what they're wanting to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, my name is Will Moyers. I live at 1814 Troy Smith Road, about 10 minutes drive from this property. My kids go to school a few miles down the road at Walker Park. This is my favorite corner of Walton County. This is how folks from Barrow and that 316 corridor get introduced to our rural area. I picked up this property with the intent of maintaining that rural agricultural feel. My company is an energy efficiency company. We've spent the last 15 years guiding contractors, builders, utilities, and homeowners around energy code issues and keeping our local folks ahead of code changes. And we've been based out of Gwinnett, and I'd love to move our jobs and our revenue to Walton County. We're a small firm. We're not going to be bringing any major traffic. We've already done traffic surveys and all the like. With this rezone, we intend to build a ground-mounted solar farm to power a small office building and a residence. Also be pursuing other agricultural uses for the land based around sustainability, conservation, and energy grid resiliency. Previous objections seem to center around disruption or industrialization of the rural agricultural area, and I want to emphatically say that the agricultural feel, the rural residential agricultural feel of this area particularly, is something I intend to preserve. With that said, two of the conditions I'd like to amend, if possible. The office building to match residential appearance, and also I'd like to preserve the opportunity to match our agricultural appearance as well. As we get into projecting cost for our build, I want to make sure we have options, but I believe either use case would match the area and would not stick out like a sore thumb. The wooded buffer along North Highway 81, right along the road frontage, I would like to preserve the ability to professionally landscape, provided that so long as it creates more of a barrier, not less of a barrier, than the natural tree line frontage there.
Okay, any questions from the board? Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone here in opposition to this request that would like to speak? Seeing no opposition, I'll close the public hearing on this request and ask the board to entertain a motion.
Chairman, I want to make a motion to approve this request following the planning and zoning recommendations and amending those to allow the agricultural appearance for the office and to allow for professional landscaping as long as it maintains a 100-foot buffer for the property line.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Adams.
I'll second.
I have a second from Commissioner Dixon. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimously.
Could I clarify one thing on that motion?
You can.
So this is a rezone to A, so the 100-foot buffer.
Well, maintain whatever that, what was the buffer again?
Yeah, they just said a wooded buffer.
Wooded buffer,
So
yeah.
we're good as long as we get the landscaped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it
All right.
maintains.
Okay, thank you. No, I looked at you. I thought you said that. Okay, the next item on the agenda is still planning and development, is annexation of 4430 Tuck Road. And this is a 100% annexation. The property directly across the road from this property on Tuck Road is in the city of Loganville.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve this annexation, City of Loganville.
I make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Shelnut to approve.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Banks. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Okay, 5.2.
Okay, acceptance of right-of-way on Horseshoe Road. This will be one of our first developments along a public road, and they are dedicating the right-of-way. So you should have a copy of the plat, but it's the property that just abuts Horseshoe Road, and it will be dedicated as a public right-of-way, county right-of-way.
Okay.
This is for the record. It's been recorded. So this is for the record, acceptance for the record.
And That's following our procedure.
Yes.
All right, entertain a motion to approve this for the record.
Motion approved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Banks. Got a second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimous. Okay. Does any of the board have any questions on the administrative consent agenda? If not, I entertain a motion that the administrative consent agenda be approved.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Adams,
Second.
second by Commissioner Shelnut. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. Okay, Milton, we have a couple resolutions on the budget.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, there's three budget amendments. The first one relates to item 6.6. It's a donation for exercise equipment for the South Walton Community Center. There'd be no effect in fund balance. The second and third proposed amendment, back in February, March, when we did the FY22 budget, these two pieces were approved, or these vehicles were approved for a certain amount. Since then, because of COVID and supply chain interruptions, they've gone up. It's being requested that we approve, that you all approve the increase.
One of them in particular was a Mack truck that we got a price on, and by the time we were ready to order it, it went up substantially. And we needed the vehicle, so.
That's right. Any questions? Anyone have a question?
Entertain a motion to approve the,
Approved.
got a motion from Commissioner Banks. Second. Second from Commissioner Bradford. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, and the splosh resurfacing.
Yes, sir. There's a project length budget for the resurfacing of, you've got detail, I believe, of the roads, I would think. There's 2 roads that are going to be resurfaced, and that's what that is for.
Okay, any questions from the board? Entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Got a motion from Commissioner Bradford.
I'll second.
Got a second from Commissioner Dixon. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Okay, we're moving on to contracts, item 8, and we have a GDOT roundabout lighting assistance. John, you want to tell us about that? And when GDOT puts in a roundabout, it affects Walton County and utility relocation, and then we have to provide the lighting at the roundabout.
Yes, so this is just an agreement that says that we'll maintain the lighting and pay the light bill. We're gonna get with GDOT and see if they will incorporate the Walton EMC's equipment so that we can get them as a contractor for this.
Okay, and Walton EMC does most of our street lights anyway. Okay, entertain a motion to approve this resolution and contract.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve.
Got a motion by Commissioner Warren.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Shelnut. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Okay, we have some appointments to make to the DFACS board. And under item 9.1, they're requesting us to reappoint Nancy Curry and Darren Vinson to serve another 5-year term, and entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to, and a second. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes. They also recommending a new appointment of Eric Rubio to a 5-year term on the DFAX board. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve? Need a second?
Second.
Got a couple. I think Commissioner Shelnut. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Item,
Chairman, I'd also like to thank these three people for serving on a very tough board. This is three fine people, and I appreciate their service very much.
very well said. Thank you. That is a tough board to sit on. Thank you, Commissioner Banks. Okay, we have item 10.1, discussion and possible action requesting Campton Community be declared cultural interest area. And I'm going to turn that over to Commissioner Adams to tell us what this is about, please.
Yes, sir. I'd like to get the board to ask the state to recognize Campton as a cultural interest area, part of that would be some signage recognizing that community as the Campton community. We would have to enlist the help of Bruce Williamson to present this at the state legislative session. But there's a lot of history in Campton. At one time it had a post office. The community's been established for a very, very long time. So I think it would be appropriate to recognize that community.
Okay, and this is in an attempt to get 2 road signs from DOT recognizing the community on Highway 11, which we can't put them on Highway 11.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you like to make that in the form of a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make that a motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Adams.
I'll second motion.
We have a second from Commissioner Dixon. Any further discussion? Any questions? Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I was born and raised in Campton, and I didn't know what kind of cultural interests we had, but we did have a post office at one time in the community. So, all right. Melissa, we have on here discussion of our healthcare broker, which we changed July the 1st to a new broker in an attempt to save some money. And Melissa's about to pull her hair out because it is not working out
No, sir.
properly.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Given my duty as Human Resources Director to serve as representative of the Walton County employees, I urge the Board of Commissioners to discontinue the insurance broker services effective immediately provided by Insurance Office of America, also known as IOA. Since the transition on July 1st, employees and their covered dependents have experienced a total of 623 medical and pharmacy denials. In addition, employees have reported untimely resolutions of these problems and ineffective solutions with their first point of contact, with telephone hold times averaging 45 minutes. Employees also reported being intentionally disconnected while speaking to representatives. New hires are not being enrolled in a timely manner, resulting in a delay of their coverage. Prescriptions are not being filled, resulting in employees being unable to perform their job duties. Due to these numerous examples of unacceptable customer service and support, the best interest of our hardworking Walton County employees would be to promptly discontinue the services provided by IOA and return to MSI benefits for broker services. Prior to July 1st, Walton County utilized MSI benefits for broker services since 2016, in which employees were fully serviced with a single point of contact and any issues being resolved within a reasonable time frame. Employees were educated on benefits and kept up to date on changes. Representatives were always readily available and conducted business in person. IOA representatives have not been on site since implementation. Open enrollment was completed by a third-party administrator on their behalf. This created a lot of confusion and misinformation for our employees. I appreciate your consideration, and on behalf of the Human Resources staff, and most importantly, the employees, thank you for your time and support.
Okay, thank you. Please stay there in case there's a few questions from the board. I was made aware of this about 10 days ago.
Yes, sir.
I wished I was made aware of it earlier. I was sold on changing brokers because we were going to do a clinic, and of course, MSI came to us at the last minute, which made me even more angry, saying, oh, we could have done a clinic. Well, would it save us this? Oh, yeah, it'd save you that much money. So I was angry at our present broker because they were not offering the previous board ideas and ways for us to save money on this huge medical cost this county has. I've seen enough personally that I'm not happy with what our HR is having to go through. Employees are not happy when they get turned down. I'll be going to the doctor here very soon, starts tomorrow, on some problems I've got. I hope I don't get turned down. But MSI has stated that they would come back in immediately. We don't have a signed contract with IOA. And gentlemen, I'm ready to change, and I'll make it in form of a motion that we notify IOA that their services will no longer be needed. I need a date, and let Melissa fill that date in as of when MSI can come in and take back over. We're still going to do the clinic. We're still going to do, and I think they know now that they will be showing me cost-cutting measures instead of just rocking along collecting their commissions. So I make that in the form of motion switch from IOA back to MSI
Yes, sir.
as an insurance broker.
I'll second that motion, and the date, today's the 7th, so what's an appropriate date? The 8th?
It would be very appropriate to keep an uprising on our hands if we could do it tomorrow. I don't know. Get with council. We'll give you the authority in this motion to do it as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion?
So, Mr. Chairman, what happens to all the denials? Can they resubmit those denials, or they're just done?
Yes, sir. We're going to take care of those.
They can be.
We're taking care of them. We're overriding the denials right now and blanket covering.
Good.
It's the only thing I could do.
Right.
These brokers are supposed to make sure you get the right pricing from the hospitals, you know, like an x-ray for your back. It's supposed to be, you know, $750. Say that's what they're supposed to charge. They're supposed to keep a company from charging us $7,050 for that x-ray, because we're self-insured up to $175,000.
Okay.
So technically, the Walton County taxpayers are paying our medical up to $175,000, and these brokers are supposed to, and their companies are supposed to make sure that we get value for our dollars. So I've learned an awful lot on health insurance in 8 months. So we have a motion and a second. I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye on this one. Opposed? Okay, passes unanimous. Okay, we're going to open back up the discussion among the board on what's become known as prison, jail, public safety complex. At our last work session, just last week, we got down to location. Everybody that was there agreed, yes, we do need to build a new facility. It took a lot of education to get to that point. Yes, it is going to cost an awful lot of money. Yet, we're still approaching the problem of location. And I, as chairman, after listening to everything, take the value of the safety of our staff at the jail and the logistics of the court system very seriously. And with that being said, I plan to make this as a motion. I make a motion that we acquire the 65 plus or minus acres site behind the DFAX building as the location for the future public safety complex, and that we move forward with financing the project, period.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, have a motion by Chairman, second by Commissioner Banks. Okay, I'll open this up for discussion further from the board. Any questions? Okay, let's see how we stand. I call the question, and it'll be a voice vote and then a show of hands. All those in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. Oppose?
Aye.
Okay, hand vote. We can go alphabetically. Dr. Adams? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Bradford?
No.
Commissioner Dixon?
No.
Commissioner Shelnut?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren? Yes. And I, as chairman, vote yes. The motion passes 5-2. We're going to proceed forward, gentlemen, and build y'all a new public safety complex. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your help. Okay, any announcements? Any need for an executive session? All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You got a motion to adjourn?
Second.
You got a second? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We will adjourn. Hey, Tim,
Kill any dogs?
could you help me again? Just let me pull up on you. Yeah, once I get upright, I'm okay.